Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to try out the Geonode feature in Random Flow and also show you a small change that will come in the update. So let's just mirror this so I can show you the change. Initialize, and here we have a new Geonode modifier called Clip Mirror. This will essentially get rid of the middle faces that are generated using the randomizer Geonode modifier. So if we go to offset extras and remove source mesh, and if we disable clip mirror, you can see the faces in the symmetry line that are being clipped are now showing. This can cause errors in shading and also in how the mesh will show the texture in render. Creates black areas. So with the clip mirror, it will now get rid of the spaces and also get rid of the problems that um, I've said earlier. Okay, so this only activates if it detects the mirror modifier and will add itself after the mirror modifier for it to work. It doesn't work if it's on top. So, whoa, what? Oh, it just needs to be after the randomizer, but just to make sure it's under the mirror modifier. Okay, um, let's test this on a model. Um, do let's try using it with random loop extreme. And to make things interesting, I'm going to use symmetry for the big smash. X, Y, and Z. And use random loop extrude. This one. Okay. Up to a good start. Global seed is 19. Should fix that. So you can also use not random loop extrude, random access extrude. Okay, something like that. Mm, Geonodes initialize. Ooh, a lot. Let's go to solver offset and just manage the settings, the offset settings. Play around with the settings here as well. And go to extra offset, create some of this antenna looking distributions. This functions the same as random cells in random flow, and basically just to break up the silhouette of the object. Let's reduce the number some more, zero point 0.5, and let's try adding some geometry to some areas or edge loops to create more faces for the randomization to play with. Detail is 7%. Solver extras offset. Okay, let's try RS solver. Okay, 25. Let me see. Some details are being extruded inwards. It's probably the offset. Okay, it's the item. 0.01. There we go. Solver. Our solver. Let's try the wrap. Problem with the wrap. There's a problem with the wrap still, but it will be addressed in future when I have more knowledge with geonodes. Let's go back to RM. So RM is random maze and RS is recursive subdivision. I didn't write the full name just to make the UI uh, smaller. Whoops, it's probably a lot. So reduce to 2. And let's go back to extra offset and set this to 0.1. Okay, seeing more faces here than here. So you can add more edge loops on areas that needs more detail without actually increasing the subdivision on this or on the settings. Okay, so we just need to select the other object, select this, then copy the modifiers there. There we go. Let's select our cube again and generate another instance of random access extrude. Okay, this one. And again, let's just copy the modifiers. There you go. So the trick here is that to change the result of the randomization, you can just add or remove geometry and topology, and also add more resolution, or basically just affect the topology of the object. Okay, this one here, I think we're going to go to extra offset and set this to something like 0.5. Go. And here, or the other one here is 0.4. Okay. So kind of like a space station, if you want some in your scene, this could be the way to do it. Select everything and we're going to append the preset materials from random flow. Shading, append materials, and let's add the object, soft object material. Okay, and then we're going to the material and change the scale the texture. Okay, now we need to generate a vertex color for each of this. Just save this. Blends. Test. Okay, and let's try it here first. And go here to solver extras and use vertex color. Then in this object here, go to the data properties and in color attributes add an attribute named color. This name must reflect the name that is in here for that object or for that object. Then to use that, we need to connect that vertex color to our material. Whoops. Here we go. Okay. Uh, attribute. You cannot see that in the viewport, but you can see it in the materials. There we go, and just modify the color. This just adds some variation in the shading of the panel islands. And let's do the same for each of this. Use vertex color and then create the color attribute that is named color. Go to do it in the base mesh as well. Here, this vertex color. Okay. So select this one and just change the vertex color of color 2 to make it brighter. You can affect the distribution here in the distribution parameter. So color 1 might be color 2 is 1 means that all of the panel islands will use color 2 and 0 means that it will use color 1. So just mix and match till you get the settings that you want. Okay, so we have our floating space station. And if you need to add another object, like for example, we can use add cube and just add something like that. So this is basically drawing in the viewport. It's drawing in some 2D software. You draw in the 3D viewport. Okay, selecting all this and just adding a bit of resolution, but also trying to make the faces evenly square. Okay, and selecting all this drawn object, we can just set join them and then select another one and then Control L, copy modifiers. Let's remove the mirror. It copied the mirror as well. So let's remove that and then just adjust your settings here and also add our vertex color. Okay, it's not vertex colored. Oh, the material. Just drag the material icon and set it there. There you go. And you can do this multiple times, of course, till you get the shape that you like. Let's just use this very handy operator, the add cube. So if you build your, oops, why is it not working? If you build the preliminary shapes using random flow, then you can just add this. You can just use add cube to add more stuff. Oops, that is too thin. Okay, let's go back to select box. It's geometry that we've drawn, and just provide not too much, of course. There we go. And select one of the objects that have the Geonode modifiers that you need, and then let's get rid of the mirror. You can also get rid of the clip mirror as well. Um, adjust the settings to match the surrounding geometry. Okay, let's go to offset extras. Let's use a D, something around 0.3, 0.2. Go. And then go create our vertex color, and then select one of the objects that have the material, and then just drag and drop. Okay, the distribution is too much. Let's go to the modifier, and here distribution, you can modify it and also use the seed value to randomize. There we go. So, oops, this one here, uh, we weren't able to join that one. Let's just delete it. Okay, now we can add something else like, I don't know, cables. So let's just use this geometry right here. Let's select a face that is underneath. So where is the actual face? Okay, there we go. So we're going to use catenary. That means it's going to be affected by gravity, and it will be facing or dropping towards the z-axis. So we're only gonna select faces that are essentially facing the z-axis. So select this one. You can use normal, Shift G and select similar, use normal, but it will also select some of the top faces. And there's another way to do this, and that is using coplanar. I'm just increasing the threshold. There we go. And maybe just this faces here. And still, with this, you can also delete some of the ones that you don't need, like using circle select, but let's just use this. We go to run cables and just use this, oops, auxiliary, do not use mirror. There we go. It's going to be pretty slow in this case because of the amount of geometry uh, that is, of course, that we are using. So instead of pressing and dragging the values and going to enter them manually, problem here is okay. I think there we go. 7.001. We just increase the cable amount to 100. In this case, the no overlap will be essentially not practical. But let's just try it. The no overlap is, I think, only for our like very simple setups. But here, as you can see, it's already working very slowly. So I don't know if Blender crashed or something. It didn't crash, it just froze. Nothing was nothing was left, so everything's overlapped. So let's just, in this case, you can just trick the viewer and remove the ones that are obviously overlapping. Actually, let's increase the overlap slack. So thickness of the cable. Let me see. Something like that. And just slowly click, instead of, in this case, since everything's so slow, just use this button here for the save values. Instead of dragging, it will be slow because Blender will repeat the script per seed value. You might notice that it's kind of jumping. Actually, it's the script is repeating per seed value, so it's not actually jumping like something like 8 to 12, and it's only going to process 8 and 12. It's going to process 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, something like this. So the whole premise of random flow is layering the gradable detail. It is essentially what it was made for. That's why the original results were separate objects, and the original base meshes are untouched. Okay, and let's try and post this in a render window in a short YouTube short dimension, and also fix the, since this is a very large object, you can just negate or not use depth of field. Okay, and let's use the HDRI to actually generate the sky. So a floating structure using our uh, Geonode setup. Okay, we can go to HDRI and just adjust the light, something dramatic. Okay, something like that. Let's just try and render this, and then we can use the compositor to get some initial color grading. I'm going to remove this and this. So map range can generate the highlight mask. You can change, you can use color to basically change the color of those, of the mask. here, I'm going to reset the color. For the shadows, what I like to do to basically diffuse them is to use lighten. Oops, not that. If D to duplicate and change this to lighten and something like 0.01, then you can change the color. You can see the shadows being affected right there. So it kind of makes them like a single color. So let's use something like orange. There we go. So this it's subtle, but there we go. Okay, and yeah. So this is our Gribbled result using the Geonode feature in Flow. So for the lights, uh, let me see. Cells, we can use random cells for the light. Yes, we can increase the division. Are they actually generating on the flow geometry of the? I think they are. Let's see. Oh, they are. Right, I guess we can use that. Okay, 200. Go, just play around with the seed value. Okay, um, let's try this object here. Select all the faces. Random cells. Let's increase the subdivision to make the faces smaller. Okay, so just those tiny lights. So we rebuild another layer, and let's try and include the emission in the render, and render again. So just watch for the progress bar. You can't see the render window because OBS doesn't record that. So we get the emission pass, and we can use that here. Glare. Actually, I think it's better after the color balance. So the color balance doesn't affect the this effect. This glare. Okay, you can see that it already affected the light. So to make this more sensitive, you can just decrease the threshold right here, and then we're going to use glare type, which is bloom, just to make those tiny like bloom-like effect. So if we mute this and then turn it on, you can see those subtle halos of the light. So I think that just makes them better looking. And then finally, we can add some harsh backlight here. Go to track lights, track, make empty, and track, point it there. And let's just use a sun. There's a sun this way. From the HDRI, but we're going to create another sun that way. Okay. Use fall off. Use black body. So you can just color using this presets here, Kelvin. And strength is 1. Plane. You turn off use black body, you can of course use color here. Okay, you can rotate. Just to create some backlighting. Here we go. So if we turn off, go to lamp list and turn it off. Oh my god, lamp list disappeared because I turned it off. Okay. Mm, there we go. Now let's render it again. Okay, so much better. So this could be your background, and then you can paint your other stuff in there, or put your other stuff in there. Oops. I was watching the render window, so this is, yeah. So that is our Gribble exercise using um, the Geonode feature and random cells for the light, and then random cables for the cables. Okay, so that is it for this video, and just wait for the update. I'm ready to pass all the updates. Just, of course, doing some final checks. Okay, so if you have any questions, just the comment section below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.